The sport is sponsored by MAD. San Diego State got a big win last night in Nevada as road underdogs 73-68. They'll be back on Saturday night taking on the Fresno State Bulldogs live from Viejas Arena. That game will be at 8 o'clock, and you can hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the big NFL news that broke after our show yesterday, John Harbaugh has been fired as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. He has every team opening interested in him. He is expected to be the favorite for the New York Giants opening. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Check the clock.
What time is it?
It's high noon.
Yoo-hoo. I'll make you famous.
The day is half over. Now it's time to enter the Fletch Zone.
And let's get it going on a Wednesday. What's going on, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. And we'll see what happens after that. I know our John Schaefer, our play-by-play voice of the San Diego State Aztecs, his voice isn't doing too hot after a few back-to-back games. So we'll give John a little bit of a breather here and see what's happening afterwards. But Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. We know that for a fact. And we know that there's been some craziness happening in the sports world over the last 24 hours. Sammy told you in the update, but John Harbaugh gets fired. Who saw that one coming? Now, it was speculated a lot, wasn't it? But Ian Rappaport, right before the Sunday night football game between the Steelers and the Ravens, said neither coach is playing for their job. Well, that didn't turn out to be exactly true, because John Harbaugh yesterday and the Ravens have split ways, and now John Harbaugh's got to be number one on just about everybody's list. We'll get into that a little bit more as the show goes on. Of course, we'll preview the NFL postseason matchups, and we're going to be joined by the play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans, Mark Vandermeer. He's coming up at 12:30. We are going to start off with another just heart attack of a basketball game, which was last night's San Diego State-Nevada game. 73-68 Aztecs win. They went down early in the first half. In fact, if you were watching the first half, it's like the two teams took turns being a good college basketball team, because San Diego State would go on a 10-0 run in the first half. Nevada would go on a 12-0 run in the first half. I think it ended up being about a 2-point game at halftime. And then in the second half, it was back and forth all the way. It was another one of those Mountain West matchups that was extremely physical. Two head coaches that are fantastic at what they do, and Brian Dutcher and Steve Alford. And it was a game all the way down the stretch. But Miles Byrd had one of those games that we were waiting for him to have. He had 14 points and made big play after big play down the stretch of this one. And San Diego State, once again, is starting to prove that in close games, they can have a little bit of motion, a little bit of juice. And they get the win last night over Nevada, which is huge because, like we talked about yesterday on our show here on San Diego Sports 760, Ken Pom projected the Aztecs to lose that game by 2 points. They win that game by 5 points. So when you look at the metrics after the fact, they got a nice little boost in Ken Pom. I believe they moved up 3 spots, but in the net ranking, they jumped up 9 spots. So I think we could say, Sammy, we have our first catapult of the season for the San Diego State Aztecs. Yeah. How about it?
It was an impressive win last night. It was to what you just said about. It looked like it was after they fought really well the first half. It was like, are they going to choke this one? Because we knew that Boise State they were up huge 23 and they almost come back and lose that one. But to be able to do it on the road was very impressive. And they passed them 65-64 late in that game. And you're sitting there going, the Aztecs are going to, give up a golden opportunity. They were able to come through. You mentioned it with Miles Byrd. That was the best part of that game for me yesterday. Is he comes out in the second half. It's a 1-point ball game. He hits a 3 immediately, takes another one, then takes the guy baseline, was really aggressive. And we haven't seen that a lot from him this year. We haven't seen the aggressive Miles Byrd. It's not that he's been bad. It's just he's been a lot more passive and trying to set everyone else up. And I think at times it's hurt the team because Miles Byrd is one of, if not the most talented player on the team. So at the end of the day, he needs to be taking the initiative offensively. It was nice to see on the road. The Aztecs fought. I think Miles Heide in the front court deserves a lot of love for how they played last night, especially on the road. And just a fun victory for the Aztecs and starting off hot here in Mountain West Conference play. And it's nice to see after that first month, which was kind of rough at times.
Yeah. I think the best news for San Diego State has to be the play of Taj DeGorville, especially in the first half. Like, they don't come back in that game in the first half without the play of Taj DeGorville, who at times this year, we talked about it a lot. Starting off the season, it seemed like something just wasn't there mentally for Taj. Like, there was a little bit of a block. And I don't know if it was going to the bench after LZ Harrington took over the starting job at point guard for the Aztecs or what it was for Taj. But, man, he got in last night And really over the last 2 games during Boise State, he played some huge minutes. He started one of the overtime periods against Boise State. And then last night he comes out and essentially goes on like a 8-0 run by himself at the end of the first half. And Taj DeGorville playing loose, playing free. That's what we saw. That's what we liked so much with Taj as a freshman. And we're starting to see some signs of that coming back. Because as much as we get excited heading into the year about the big 3 of Miles Byrd, Reese Dixon Waters, and Magoon Gwath, the 2 freshmen from a year ago in Pharaoh Compton and Taj DeGorville may have been the most exciting part about last year's team, seeing them grow into regular players on this team. And Pharaoh has kind of just picked up right where he left off. Pharaoh's had some excellent performances this year, none better than his performance against Boise State. But that was yesterday was the first time we saw that kind of loose, aggressive Taj DeGorville that we gave so much props to as a freshman here in his sophomore season. So fun night, and it doesn't get any easier. I put the tweet out last night from my account was so this is how Mountain West play is going to go this year, huh? It's just going to be a heart attack each and every single night, and it certainly feels that way because Fresno State just lost a game to Nevada by like 2 points, and Fresno State's coming to Viejas Arena this weekend. I don't know, outside of like Air Force and maybe one more game against San Jose State when you get them back home, if there's going to be an easy win in the Mountain West. And we've seen San Jose State has been a hard win for decades for San Diego State. They've done it a lot, but it's always been challenging. So we'll see how the rest of this Mountain West goes. But man, San Diego State starting off 4-0 at the top of the standings. It's good to see. Utah State, the only other unbeaten Mountain West team in the Mountain West. It was a good one, Sammy. All right, we got plenty to get to on today's show. If you missed it, Mark Vandermeer is the play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans. He's going to be jumping on coming up at 12:30 to do a little preview of their matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, Buddy Jamar on YouTube, you're going to have to listen in for that one to see what the matchup's going to be like for your Steelers. But right now, let's get to the first big 3 of the day. We got tons going on in sports. So, Sammy, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Story number 1, Conformity Gate is real.
It's not real.
Conformity
They
Gate
just
is real.
denied it on Variety. Okay, real quick, before we get into sports, Ben comes in to Brent and I before the show and shows us a TikTok video of some random dude.
It was Instagram.
Explaining why there's going to be some secret Stranger Things finale tonight. And Brent and I keep telling him that it's idiotic and it's not happening. And Ben, we all know, loves his conspiracy theories. Variety, very reputable magazine, has denied
Forbes.
this.
That's fake news, Sammy. We could sniff that out a mile away. Everyone's denying it, but isn't that exactly what you would want to do if you were about to drop one of the biggest bombs of mass media ever?
I told you, they already sold finale tickets at movie theaters. People would be pissed off if you mislead people.
Better, Sammy. That makes it even better. Everyone's disappointed by the finale. Now we have a chance to make it right. Real finale of Stranger Things happening tonight, 5 o'clock on Netflix.
San Diego, it's not happening. Don't listen to Ben Fletcher.
Look
He's
up
lying.
Conformity Gate and just go down the rabbit hole. I did it last night. It was well worth my time.
John Harbaugh. We're going to get to in the next segment a little bit more in depth because there's a lot to unpack here about where he's going to go. But just kind of overall reaction to him being fired. Do you think he was screwed over? Do you think this was best for both parties? Where do you start with him being fired yesterday from Baltimore?
What's the age-old adage in the NFL? If you're about to fire a guy who's going to be the immediate number 1 hire for every other opening in the market, it's probably not a great firing. There's a lot we don't know about this story with John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson. I think this relationship got contentious over the last year, and I think the Ravens had to choose. They had to choose between John Harbaugh, their head coach of the last, 18 seasons, who's won a Super Bowl with the program, and the quarterback who's won a couple of MVPs over the last 5 or 6 years, and they went with the quarterback. Is it the right decision? We'll find out here in a couple years, but I think it's kind of an insane thing to do to fire John Harbaugh, knowing that every head coach opening, John Harbaugh is going to be number 1 on their list.
And he already is, and I know we're going to get into it in the next segment, but from just the perspective of firing him, I don't get it. I think it's kind of crazy that you would fire a guy who's won a Super Bowl. I think this puts all the pressure on Sean McDermott because if you look at if John Harbaugh gets fired for having a 2-time MVP, and we all know the NFL's a what have you done for me lately league, but this man has won a Super Bowl. Even when Andy Reid left Philly to go to the Chiefs, he had been to a Super Bowl. He hadn't won one. So if you kind of look at the other MVP superstar quarterback, I think it's puts a lot of pressure on Sean McDermott, who's never even been to a Super Bowl. But in terms of John Harbaugh, there's been some unlucky breaks. Obviously, Tyler Luke, the missed kick. The Chiefs, L'Jarius Sneed knocked the ball on the goal line from Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews drops it for the 2-point conversion in the Buffalo Bills game. So there has certainly been some things that haven't gone John Harbaugh in Lamar Jackson's way. I think it's idiotic. I don't know who you're going to get. Like, they're talking about Cliff Kingsbury, and I like Cliff Kingsbury as a coach. I really do. And there's a lot of spots about him possibly being another OC somewhere else, maybe a head coach. But that's a tough sell to the fan base to go, hey, John Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl, has been a perennial playoff team, and is regarded as one of the best head coaches in football. We're going to dump him for a guy who his biggest success he's ever had was coaching Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, or be the OC for Jaden Daniels in the offense of Washington a year ago.
Here's a question for the text line, 70470. Start your message with team. We'll read these in 5 minutes. Did Baltimore make the right choice? Head coach or quarterback? Because I think that's what it came down to.
Well, if you had to pick one, obviously they made the right choice.
Maybe.
I mean, you're telling me you're going to give up on a 2-time MVP for a guy who I'm a big John Harbaugh supporter, but when all this was coming out about John Harbaugh, and
let's let the text line get to it. We'll talk about it more in a little bit. Sammy, what's next on the Big Three?
All right, we're heading breaking news actually out of the NBA. So Trae Young, we know they're working with his representatives to leave the Atlanta Hawks. Per Shams Charania, as of 5 minutes ago, the Washington Wizards have been listed as his top trade destination. It was reported earlier that teams like Minnesota, to pair alongside Anthony Edwards, were very interested in him. What do you make of Trae Young wanting to go to Washington? Kind of, to me personally, seems like kind of an odd fit considering Washington is not good. They're 10-25 on the year, and they got a lot of young guys, but there feels like a lot of other options. In an ideal world, where would you like to see Trae Young go?
So Washington is 10-25 on the year so far. They're in 14th place in the Eastern Conference. Okay, here's my rationale. You ready for this, Sammy? Follow me if we're going conspiracy theories. Trae Young knows a guy who put a bunch of money on Trae Young to go to the Washington Wizards at some point in his career, and that is why it's his number one choice. Now, this is bizarre, man. I got to be honest, it makes me think a little bit less of Trae Young. I don't know if there's family ties to the region, but I would think Trae Young would want to go to a contender. And by the way, I'm sure there are contenders out there who would love for Trae Young to come on over. Playoff Trae Young is what we want to see. That is where he's become the most famous, for hitting big shots in Madison Square Garden where the entire crowd hated him. That's the Trae Young we all want to see. So him going to a team that's not going to stiff the playoffs this year, why?
I don't get it. If I'm Trae Young, if I'm Trae Young, not that I want to live in Minnesota. Sorry to anyone from Minnesota, but what's Minnesota's problem?
Minnesota's a cool place, man.
What's Minnesota's problem? They have a superstar in Anthony Edwards. They play great defense. They have a lot of bigs. Problem is they don't have another elite guard. So let's look at Trae Young's deficiencies. Small, doesn't play defense. But if you're talking about one of the best pure scorers and shooters in the NBA, it's not too far down that list before you get to Trae Young. So Minnesota would seem like the perfect fit for me for Trae Young. He gets to pair alongside Anthony Edwards. He purposely just gets to focus on scoring. He doesn't have to worry about defense because the other four members of the starting lineup for the Minnesota Timberwolves would take care of that. In terms of Washington, overall, it surprises me how the Washington Wizards have been so bad for so long, kind of like before the Commanders got good with Jaden Daniels. It's a big market. It's a big city. You think you could recruit some talent there, but the Wizards have really been they've been terrible in the NBA for years. The last time they were even somewhat relevant was John Wall, and those teams didn't even get very far either. So kind of surprising me for Trae Young. Feel like there's a lot of other spots for him, but hey, if he wants to go make his money in Washington and stat pad, then I guess that's his prerogative.
All right, let's get one more in.
Let's go to college football. So kind of a weird story. The transfer portal's all going on. There's guys re-signing, signing contracts, basically NFL free agency in college football. Now, we don't normally talk about the Washington football team, but here's the story. The Washington quarterback, Damon Williams Jr., signed a contract to remain with the Washington Huskies on Friday. Yesterday, he decides he wants to enter the transfer portal. After just signing a few days ago a contract to remain with the Washington Huskies to be the quarterback for them going forward. Now, Washington is looking to pursue legal avenues to keep him there because he signed a contract. They're saying you have to behold that contract, and Damon Williams Jr. is trying to break it. What is your reaction to the transfer portal just going on right now while we still have the college football playoff, which gets going again tomorrow? And it feels like there's more conversation about the fact that all these kids are going all these different places. Meanwhile, there's 4 teams that are still playing, trying to win a national championship.
For the majority of my life, Sammy, I have thought we need less rules and regulations in everything, pretty much, period. End of discussion. We need governmental bodies, regulating bodies to stay out of our lives as much as possible. Somebody needs to get involved with college sports. Fix this Please, some sort of regulation. Contracts mean nothing. Coaching contracts mean nothing. We got the dead money in college football right now is about to surpass the NFL when it comes to head coaches. It's getting a little ridiculous. I hate where it's at right now because players are getting screwed over. Universities are getting screwed over. Coaches are getting screwed over. And I don't know who wins in this, but I'll tell you who loses. Fans. Fans are losing right now. And if the college football wants to get them back, you got to find some sort of regulation on this because, man, I love it when we see a guy as a freshman go into a program, grow, develop, and you see him get to the peak of his powers as a senior in your program. And I just think that those days are completely gone.
We were talking about it yesterday when we were talking about boxing and UFC. What has made the UFC so popular in America is there's one governing body that Dana White controls. What's hurt boxing for years? The fact that it's all siloed. There's different promoters everywhere. I related this to college football in the sense of it's free enterprise, and it's great in a sense. We're America. We're about capitalism and getting what's yours. So there's something beautiful about that. But there's also something crazy about the fact that we went from college football 10 years ago, 20 years ago, where the schools and coaches had too much power. It was basically my way or the highway. We're making millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars off you in your name, image, and likeness. And meanwhile, you're getting nothing. Now, some could argue that you're getting a scholarship and education. I don't want to get in that whole debate right now. But it's gone so far the other way where now you got quarterbacks at Washington, a major football program, who signs a contract to resign. 3 days later decides, I don't want to do that because I'm getting a bigger offer somewhere else. And we're literally seeing all these schools tweeting, if you follow their social media, we re-signed our own player.
Crazy. Like
this is not the NFL. This is not the NBA, Major League Baseball.
It's worse. It's unregulated NFL. It's player empowerment to the max. It is zero salary cap. It is zero trade regulations. You are free to do whatever you want whenever you want.
Imagine if this was the NFL. Imagine the NFL if every top quarterback was like, you know what? I don't feel like playing for my team anymore.
It'd be crazy.
I'm deciding I'm going to break my contract.
Where Patrick Mahomes is like, it gets really snowy here in Kansas City. I'm going to go play for the Rams.
That's literally what you'd be looking at. And it's like, now I understand where it used to be, it felt like college football was the job. I think the NFL is certainly a better job because it's just the NFL. It's better, but you don't have to try to recruit your own kids. It's kind of a disaster right now. And it's a bummer that it's taking the storyline over the college football playoff right now.
Being a coach in college, you wake up every single day not knowing who's on your team. And I don't think that that's fair to anybody. It's not fair to the people building out the program. And we'll see what happens, man. But something needs to get involved. I'm not saying like the U.S. government, but I am saying a governmental body.
There needs to be a governing body for college football.
Yes. And basketball and all the other sports. Like someone come in and regulate this thing, and contracts need to actually be contracts. All right. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. We got a bunch of really good texts in. Here's the question. Did Baltimore choose right? Do you think that the future of Lamar Jackson is so great that they were right to walk away from John Harbaugh, or would they have had more stability and more success if they kept John Harbaugh and got rid of Lamar? That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We have 16 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the bonus bucks contest. Listen at the top of every hour from 6 to 6 starting on Monday. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com starting next Monday at 6 a.m. $1,000 would be nice right about now, huh?
Casino, Valley View.
Throw it all on Sammy's long shots today and make some real profit. Did we win last night?
We did not. We did not. Unfortunately, we got sold.
Okay, man, that's their fault, not our fault. That's what I always say. Mark Vandermeer is the play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans. They got a matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round of the NFL postseason. He's going to be joining us coming up at 12:30, so don't go anywhere. Text line has been fun to start the show today. Let's see, 619. Do the Chiefs have to pivot to Harbaugh now? That's a good question. 619.
No.
Thank you for asking that. 858 long shots didn't hit, but that Aztec money line sure did.
Yes, sir.
949 Fletch needs a tinfoil hat. I'm telling you, man, Stranger Things tonight. 858 tonight is all about episode 4 of Fallout, not Stranger Things. I do want to watch the new Fallout show, or the second season. I really like the first season. I gotta
watch that. I love my guy,
Walter Goggins.
Walter Goggins.
He's good in it. And the main girl, I don't know her name, but she's awesome in that show. It blends the like perfect mix of like post-apocalyptic terror with humor. It's a solid flick. 858. Yes, John Harbaugh will be fine. Take a year off. There will be plenty of good opportunities. Face it, one Super Bowl in 18 years with that team. Even Sammy could have gotten 2 or 3.
Hell yeah, boy.
Well, you say that now about that 858 number, but he also just said maybe John Harbaugh will take a year off knowing Andy Reid's health and age.
He's not coming to Chiefs. That's not happening. First off, 949 says he'll be the Steelers' next coach after Tomlin gets the boot next week. So there's a lot at stake here. So dude,
McDermott, he could be fired if the Bills take an early exit. Tomlin could be fired if the Steelers take an early exit.
This is the kind of firing where
how many more head coaches get fired? More or less than one? Well, half.
I think the
over under a half head coach still to be fired, meaning one of the head coaches in the playoff field gets fired.
Yeah. Oh, in the playoff field.
Yes.
McDermott's gone if they don't win a Super Bowl.
So if they make it to the AFC Championship game,
they're
losing a shootout,
he's gone.
Losing a shootout,
gone. There's no. First off, if you're the Buffalo Bills, and you have a shot to get John Harbaugh and pair him with Josh Allen,
that's a good point.
That's scary. Like that's a pairing. And we've said for years, is Sean McDermott holding Josh Allen back? Because I don't think Sean McDermott's called the best games in some of those big time games against Kansas City. But John Harbaugh specifically. So you got all the openings. You got the Cardinals, Raiders, Giants, Falcons. Who am I missing here? The Browns, and then the Ravens themselves. There were six teams, not including the Ravens, that called. Or 7 teams called, 6 openings, not including the Ravens. The 7th team is someone who already has a head coach. John Harbaugh is the kind of coach that makes you reevaluate your own coach. There's thought about McDaniel in Miami.
Bengals.
I can't believe they're keeping Zach Taylor. Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry's always wanted one of those. Could be.
Well, I mean, it would bring stability to a team. Like John Harbaugh's kind of coach. Like if the New York Giants just got a lottery ticket dropped in their lap. I mean, if you're the New York Giants, you get Jackson Dart, Scatabo, Malik Neighbors, one of the best young pass rushers in all of football. And the only concern was, are we going to hire really a rookie head coach in New York and one of the biggest media market in America? Oh wait, we can get John Harbaugh, a guy who's won a Super Bowl, also and has took Lamar from a guy who people thought should play receiver and cornerback coming out of college to winning multiple MVPs.
So Lamar or Coach Harbaugh is great, and we all kind of agree on that, I think. But the question is, did the Ravens make the right choice? Because if you've read the reports over the last couple of months, there was a report out of Baltimore from an accredited reporter that said Lamar falls asleep in team meetings, is staying up too late playing video games. It all felt very much like a smear campaign to try to potentially get Lamar Jackson out of Baltimore. Well, now, looking back, it makes it pretty easy. Someone close to John Harbaugh probably leaked all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Harbaugh probably saw, well, it's either going to be the quarterback or me come the end of this season, and they went with the quarterback, which I kind of think is a mistake, and I can explain why in a little bit, but 949 says Lamar's a great player, but I feel like he plays outside of any coaching scheme due to his play style. His results will be the same no matter who the coach is, regular season stat warrior, not a championship winning player. Let's not forget, John Harbaugh won a Super Bowl. It was a hard-fought battle, too. That postseason was 2012, where he finished up in the Super Bowl against the 49ers, the Harbaugh Bowl, where the lights went out, and if the lights didn't go out, who knows, maybe the Niners win that game, but regardless, that was a hard-fought postseason, and John Harbaugh led the Ravens through it. They've been a perennial contender. Yes, they've only won one in his 18 seasons, which is a little head-scratching considering the defenses he's had. But have we already seen the best from Lamar Jackson is the point I would be getting to.
I don't think that's fair.
The 2 MVP seasons, he was great. I thought he showed a lot this year as a passer. I thought he showed a lot this year in some adversity with his entire defense hurt, still having them in an opportunity, a field goal miss away from making the postseason. But Lamar Jackson, we can be very honest, lost a step this year. And part of that was injury, for sure. Does he regain that quickness to the fullest extent moving forward?
Well, if the question is this, you have to pick one, Harbaugh or Lamar. Of course, they made the right decision. I wouldn't have fired John Harbaugh.
Harbaugh could be your head coach for the next 15 years. Is Lamar your quarterback for the next 5?
Lamar's a 2-time MVP.
Is your next quarterback for the next 5 years?
Lamar Jackson puts butts in seats. John Harbaugh doesn't put butts in seats.
Yeah, because the Ravens were really struggling to have butts in seats before Lamar.
Okay, so but if we're
one of the most historic NFL
let's
franchises.
talk about Josh Allen. Okay, so people make excuses for Josh Allen saying he played great in these games, but he's never actually won. So we can't flip it. You can't have both ways.
For sure.
Then when Lamar plays his ass off.
Right, but Harbaugh's a different level of pedigree than Sean McDermott. We're going to have to get back to this in a little bit. We got the Houston Texans play-by-play voice, Mark Vandermeer, coming up on the other side. We'll preview their game against the Steelers. That's next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Unbound.org. Aztecs got a big victory over Nevada last night on the road, 73-68. They'll be back Saturday night, 8 o'clock. You hear that game right here on San Diego Sports 760. They'll be taking on Fresno State in that one. And John Harbaugh, longtime coach of the Baltimore Ravens, has been fired yesterday. Per Josina Anderson, despite Mike McDaniel being the head coach in Miami, they have reportedly checked in on John Harbaugh. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. And right now joined by someone pretty special, because Mark Vandermeer is one of the first guests I ever booked in broadcasting, actually. But Mark Vandermeer has been the voice of the Houston Texans and has literally called every single snap of the Houston Texans franchise on the radio broadcast for the home team. Now, Mark Vandermeer, the Texans have a pretty good matchup coming up this weekend in the postseason, taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. How is the anxiety? How is the sense in the building for the Houston Texans as we get ready for this one, Mark?
I think there's a lot of excitement, and the Texans are really eager to get after it on the road. Wherever they spot the ball, they'll be ready to go defensively and offensively. I know a lot of people talk about this. This has been a work in progress for them. I think they're making some strides to match or try to match more of what the defense has been able to accomplish this year, guys. But I think that we're looking at a matchup that's going to be in the teens somewhere, high teens, and it's going to be about turnovers. You know, whichever team makes the fewest mistakes. I know that sounds boring, but that usually is the case in the postseason, no?
People in Houston, are they like, is it kind of CJ Stroud's our guy, or are there, if he doesn't win a playoff game this year, are people going to be kind of rumoring they're going elsewhere?
No, I don't think that's the case at all. When Mills was playing, he played 3 games or 3.5. He started 3 games this year when CJ was out with the concussion. There were some that were saying, "Hey, Davis Mills," and it was kind of like that meme we always see where the guy's walking with the girl and he's looking back at the other girl, and then his girlfriend looks at him like, "Hey," because CJ has done extremely well in this league. He's still 24 years old. He's about to make his 5th playoff start. He's 2-2 in the postseason. And people can talk about, well, he hasn't lived up to what he was doing his rookie year. They can talk about all they want. The fact is, he makes plays, he makes clutch throws, and they've won a lot of games with him. In his 3rd year, they've had double-digit wins each of those seasons, and he's on his 2nd offensive coordinator. And I just think that you can't expect everything. When you look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers, even looking at Phillip Rivers the last few weeks, guys, when you look at what these 10-year-plus veterans can do and they stand at the line of scrimmage and say a bunch of stuff and they're able to organize the offense, that takes time to develop that kind of mastery of an attack. And I think that CJ will get there eventually. He's super smart. But again, work in progress. New coordinator this year, and it hasn't all clicked beautifully at times, but they've won 12 games, and CJ's a huge part of that.
Well, it's interesting when you look at a guy like CJ Stroud, Mark, because after his rookie season, we all kind of said, yeah, CJ belongs in that upper tier quarterback conversation. He belongs up there with the Burrows and the Mahomes, and maybe not all the way with them, but on his way. And then he had a sophomore slump. We've all had a sophomore slump, and I think it's common to see in NFL quarterbacks. And this year didn't start great for CJ, but he's playing some of his best ball of the year as of late. So what do you think has happened about halfway through this season where he started to play a little bit better and it translated into wins for the Houston Texans?
Well, I think as a team, what they're focusing on is, hey, let's not turn the ball over first and foremost, and let's not take deep sacks. You know, he doesn't have to run around like crazy, and he's done that from time to time where he runs backwards trying to buy time so he can get to the outside, but sometimes you take a deep sack. Instead, just throw the ball away and play 2nd down. You know, 2nd and 10 is better than 2nd and 17, as we all know. And worst case scenario, punt. He has a lot of sack-saving throws where it's, okay, this might not be complete, but it's not going to be a pick. I'm going to punt and let the number 1 defense in the league take over from there. And that's a good formula for this football team, especially against the Steelers. When you look at their wins, they tend to turn teams over when they win. Like the Patriots, that was a pretty close game. The Patriots had 5 turnovers in that game that the Steelers won. It is like that with that team. So if you can take care of the football, I think you're going to be in pretty good shape.
Who do you look at, assuming they get past Pittsburgh in the bracket, as maybe the toughest game? I know Houston kind of got after Buffalo earlier this year and then played Jacksonville twice in the division. Who do you see as that team that you're like, I wouldn't like to play them?
Well, I think when you look at Denver, the environment has as much to do with it as anything. And the Texans played Denver at NRG Stadium. That was the game in which CJ got hurt in the first half, got concussed, and they still lost by 3. It was a tie game late. Denver had a drive where Knicks had a big scramble, and that was it. They kicked a field goal for the win. So that was a super close game. And I still think Buffalo is the most dangerous team, as a lot of people do, because of the quarterback. And even against the Texans, even though they sacked him 8 times in a primetime game at NRG Stadium, even if you get them back at NRG, which you would, if all 3 road teams win this weekend, the Texans are at home in the divisional round against Buffalo, and that would be something. But I'm still not overly confident against Josh Allen because he's Superman. He's one of these guys. He's like Lamar Jackson. He can pull a play out of nowhere, and you can't prepare for some of the things that he can do, even though the Texans have fared very well against him at NRG Stadium.
Mark Vandermeer, the play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans, joining us today as we get ready for the NFL postseason first round coming up this weekend. Mark, you mentioned it earlier, but the number 1 defense in the NFL, it's been kind of incredible what the Houston Texans have been able to build on that defensive side ever since the hire of DeMeco Ryans, who he had control of the 49ers defense. And now the Houston defense is starting to look a lot like that defense he was running in San Francisco, and they're getting better and better and better. But talk a little bit about how great that is to have a younger quarterback, CJ Stroud, 24 years old, to be able to lean on this type of defense where, even in the postseason, this defense can win you some games by themselves. How huge has that been for Houston?
Yeah, I think it's monumental. When you look at the defense they've built and the core group they've had here, and the fact that they traded up in that draft in which they got Stroud, number 2 overall, they traded up to 3 to get Will Anderson Jr., and a lot of people gave them heat for it. But what you did was accelerate the growth of the franchise. You already had Derek Stingley Jr., and early on, people were saying, hey, you should have picked Sauce Gardner. Stingley's the best cornerback in the league, certainly one of the top 2. And Kamari Lassiter, don't sleep on him. He was drafted in the 2nd round because of a slow 40 time, but the guy runs fine football speed-wise and makes play after play. He's 2nd on the team in tackles, or he might be tied with Toa Toa right now, but you have the number 1 defense in the league, and for a big chunk of the season, he was number 2 on this defense in tackles. That says something. Usually when a corner is number 2 on your team in tackles, your defense stinks, but that's hardly the case here. And I haven't even talked about Danielle Hunter, who I think is the most underrated defensive player in the NFL. Look at his numbers. The guy's putting together a Hall of Fame type career, but nobody talks about him. He should be in the same conversation as T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett and these guys who have been playing a long time and racking up double-digit sack seasons one after another. So I think that they're loaded all 3 levels. Azeez Al-Shire, terrific linebacker. The defensive tackle rotation is very good. They lost some guys there, but they're trying to get some guys to fill in and help right now, and we'll see how they handle it depth-wise in the postseason. I didn't even mention Jalen Petrie, Kalen Bullock. I mean, they got players all over the place and Pro Bowlers all over the place, and I just think they're going to get better year after year if they can keep the group together. So it should be fun to watch here in the playoffs.
If the Texans go on a run, we know the stars, Nico Collins and CJ Stroud. Who's it going to be on offense? Is it going to be like rookie running back Woody Marks? Like, who's going to be the guy that's going to pop off if they're going to go on a deep run?
Yeah, that's a great question. Their leading receiver, receptions-wise, not yardage, is Dalton Schultz, a tight end. And he has the all-time record for tight end catches in the history of this franchise. And I just did a show with Owen Daniels last night, who's a Super Bowl champ, played in the league for a decade. And I still think he's the best tight end the Texans have ever had. But Schultz is putting together a dynamite season. And he's much more of a receiving tight end, but he's a very willing blocker. And I think he could make some noise in the playoffs. And you mentioned Woody Marks. Woody, his ability to run hard, get tough yards, his lateral quickness, jump cut ability, I think is very key to find those extra yards and get some yak and just get some where you think you might have none. I mean, that's huge in the playoffs. If you can create 3rd and 4 or less opportunities and let CJ throw, back to CJ, he makes some outstanding surgical throws, especially to Nico Collins, who is, again, kind of underrated as a receiver. Maybe he doesn't get talked about enough, but he doesn't have lofty numbers like some of the other guys. He just gets the job done. And he's kind of like that hoops player late in the game. You need a big basket, like a three-pointer, just to kill the clock, if nothing else. He gets those time and time again for you. So they've got a good group, good chemistry. The line has been coming together. They were a little banged up last couple of weeks of the regular season, but I think they're coming to health again. The first 7 games of this 9-game winning streak, they had a really good group together, and I think they'll have them on the field against Pittsburgh Monday night.
Mark Vandermeer joining us out of Houston. He's the play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans. And Mark, kind of unique with your career, you've called every single game of the Houston Texans history because they started in 2002. That's when you started, which means you were there for all the David Carr years, the sack-setting record. Could you run us through what that was like being on the call for each and every single one of those record-setting sacks that David Carr took?
I'll tell you what, the first game of franchise history in 2002, they beat the Cowboys. It was a Sunday night game. It was magical. 19-10, they won it. No one thought they were going to win it. It was incredible. And a lot of people who were there say it was the greatest game they've ever seen, only because of the context of it, being without professional football for all those years and beating the Cowboys in your first game. The second game was at San Diego. Drew Brees is playing, and Carr gets sacked 9 times. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of that year. Although they did beat 2 playoff teams that year, including the Steelers. It's the only time they ever won in Pittsburgh. Their first year, they had 3 defensive touchdowns. Aaron Glenn, head coach of the Jets now, had 2 pick sixes in that game. And I remember them all. You know, I have this memory for these kinds of things. And I've been blessed to be here since the Texans began, and I want to be here for a long time.
Yeah, September 15th, 2002. I'm trying to pull up the box score of that game. It was a 24-3 Chargers win. I'm trying to see who was doing the damage with the sacks. That was when LT was still at some of the peak of his powers. But yeah, it was a Junior Seau game. 7 tackles in that game, multiple sacks in the backfield. Marcellus Wiley on that Chargers team. That was a fun defense back then. Back when there was the San Diego Chargers, that was a little bit more fun, wasn't it, Mark?
I'll tell you what, I am an old Air Coryell fan, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first team I ever fell in love with in professional football. And it's not like I still love the Chargers at all, because now I'm a Texan and everybody else is the enemy. But I love Fouts. I love Monday Night Muncie. I love all those guys who played for that team because they were so thrilling to watch. And I know they never got to a Super Bowl, but there's something special about that group. And I was able to meet Fouts later, of course, and talk to him about it. And I'll always look back fondly on those teams. I still think the Chargers belong in San Diego. Personal editorial opinion.
We all do, Mark. It's kind of ridiculous that they're not. Well, thank you for your time today. Good luck on the call this weekend. Hopefully we're talking to you maybe before a potential Texans Super Bowl.
Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Mark Vandermeer, longtime play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans. Always appreciate his time. We're going to take a quick break here. On the other side, Sammy's long shots. Can't go streaking without the start of the streak. That's next. San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. We all remember that one teacher who made a difference, who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win 5 G's. That's $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Today's teacher of the day, Amanda Ford, who teaches at Flying Hills Elementary School and who folks told us she's always supportive of her students and former students, helps kindly when you don't understand, cares not only about schoolwork, but every student's mental health. Congratulations to Amanda. You're in the running to win $5,000 for your classroom. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Maybe a hot take. I like Weird Al's version of this song better than MJ's.
Shut up. That is the worst thing you have ever said on this show.
Because I'm fat. I'm fat. I'm really, really fat.
You like it better than Michael Jackson's version? Dude, it's
pretty funny, Sammy.
No, I'm not hating on Weird Al Yankovic, but
Weird Al Yankovic.
To say that it's better than Michael Jackson's version,
it's pretty close.
You know, Weird Al wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for everyone else, like Nirvana and Michael and all these guys making these songs.
Gangsta's Paradise, more like Amish Paradise. Also, Amish Paradise better than Gangsta's Paradise.
That's terrible.
You
would like some stuff like that. Like that is so on brand for you.
Right and Dirty is worse than White and Nerdy. FedEx Trey says,
not.
I've never heard a single call from Mark, but I can tell he really cares for his team. Awesome stuff. Kudos to him. I love Mark Vandermeer, man. He he may be the only broadcaster, play-by-play local voice of a team who has called every single game. And now he gets helped out because the Houston Texans were founded in Houston, or as the Houston Texans in 2002. But he may be the only person going who's doing that. And in broadcast, keeping your job for what's he at now? 24, 25 years, the same position. Is a tough thing to do. And Mark Vandermeer, that dude is a pro. He is good. We had a couple of Houston Texans fans in the chat. How about that? Jerry Teal H. Wadvo. Shout out to you,
fans
dude.
Everywhere, dude.
I think you just found us for the first time, but thank you for being here. We appreciate the hell out of you, man.
Shout out to you, Jerry. I'm sorry you have to listen to Fletch have horrible takes about Michael Jackson. That's just...
No,
I can't even get over that.
It's not even saying that Michael Jackson's not great. It's saying that Weird Al Yankovic is transformative. Sammy, he really he did to the music industry.
What are your favorite bands of all time? I'm really curious.
I mean, I love Creed.
Of course.
No, if I'm being dead serious,
Creed's your favorite band of all time.
No, if I'm being dead serious, hand on the Bible, I would say my favorite band of all time is probably Chicago. Is that something laughable?
What are you, 95 years old?
That horn section, dude, it's ridiculous. They have some bangers. 25 or 6 to 4 is one of the greatest songs ever written.
How about something like Van Halen or Led Zeppelin or Motley Crue or something like that?
I love Led Zeppelin. I really like Van Halen. Motley Crue is sick. Home Sweet Home is a tearjerker. It's a great song. I love Ozzy.
Of course.
R.I.P. to the GOAT, baby. But
yes, but
Chicago, dude, that horn section,
your favorite band of all time.
I mean, if we're talking modern, I'm a pretty big fan of Morgan Wallen. Love me some country music. Blake Shelton.
All I'm going to say is I would not give you aux at the party.
How about Martina McBride? She's fantastic. I really like Adele.
Yeah.
FedEx Trey say 3-6 Mafia. They're pretty good too.
Yes, take it. See, that's a real recommendation right there.
Talking rap, I like 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz is great
because he got him a few on. You know what I'm talking about.
Just stop.
SD Tyler saying Tool is probably at the top of his list. Everyone's got a different music taste, Sammy, and it's okay because I like Chicago. I like Boston a lot also.
Boston's a great band.
Dude. Boston's sick.
Boston's a great band. See, but all the ones coming on the text line YouTube right now, like these are respectable. Like, all
right, who's going to be the one to throw it out? Who's going to say Fish is their favorite band? No, come on.
Fish is no one's favorite
Fish
band.
With a P. Someone's got to say it. Jay Silv saying E40 is his favorite rapper. I love E40 because E40
is fantastic.
Bang, bang, not a gang. All right, Sammy, let's get to long shots today. We lost yesterday.
You got me all flustered because of these just crazy takes.
Everyone's music is different. Like Sammy hates Pearl Jam.
Sir Will, love The Cure. Cure's a great band.
Cure's great. I love me some STP. I have a wide variety of music that I like. You know who else I really, really like is Slightly Stupid. I even dip my toe into the reggae water every once in a while.
Reggae's fine. I'm not hating on reggae.
What my music is, but I just, yes. And our buddy Rich. Thank you, Rich, for jumping in on that. Didn't Weird Al start out at KCPR, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, Fletch's alma mater? Yes, he did.
Well, okay, but that's
he did.
That's
he was
cool,
in
but that
my
doesn't mean
buddy's
he's
frat
better
when
than
he was in
Michael
college.
Jackson.
Yeah, but it's got a little history with Weird Al, man. He came back to our school pretty much every year.
Jerry, now this is the great Van Halen.
I love Van Halen.
That is a take, and it's Van Halen. It's not Van Hagar. That's understood.
I love the
need to be
Rolling
said.
Stones. I actually really like Sammy Hagar, but maybe that's just me.
No, I like Sammy Hagar, but he's not
got
Dave.
motion. He's got presence.
He's not Diamond Dave. He doesn't have much presence as Diamond Dave.
All right, Sammy, let's get to the long shot, shall we? It's time.
Do I need to come on the rock show in the morning and have a debate?
Some money. Travis is our music guy. We all know this. But
Travis is someone I can talk to about music.
Time for you to make some money. Yes,
you looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money, and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
It is weird that you hate Pearl Jam.
I don't hate. This is my thing. They have a couple songs. They all sound the same. And I don't like how Pearl Jam has talked about other bands that came before them just because they think that they're so much better musicians than everyone.
That's fine. But you can be snooty. You got to appreciate the art, not the artist. You know what I heard about Eddie Vedder?
Even flow.
You know what I heard about Eddie Vedder?
What?
There's a bar steakhouse in La Mesa called the Riviera. Classic place. Been there forever.
Yeah.
Maybe the best burger in San Diego. I'm not even kidding about that. I know I say a lot of wild stuff, but that might be true. But there's the Turquoise Room has a bar and a stage where music comes in pretty much every night. They have live music. I guess Eddie Vedder back in the day in the early 2000s, late 90s would just come and play guitar there for like an hour
I'm
and a half.
I'm sure that's a great story. It doesn't mean that he's my favorite band.
That's just cool, man.
No,
Staying
cool.
loyal to the soil.
No, it's cool. I mean, doesn't he have, you know what? I mean, he's a Seattle fan, Cubs fan, Padre fan.
He can't make a choice. He doesn't like Seattle or the Padres.
I will stand on this.
He's a Chicago Cubs fan.
If the only thing that ever comes out of my radio career is that the Vedder Cup is the stupidest thing that's ever happened,
I
will
agree
stand
with that.
on that.
It is dumb, but Pearl Jam's great. All right, Sam, where are we going?
Rapid fire, because we got distracted with stuff. Nemias Queta. You go, who? If you're not a diehard NBA fan, guess what? Denver, Boston. Fun game tonight. Denver coming off a huge victory.
We're going to need a spelling on that one, Sammy.
Yeah, I know. Neemiasqueta.
Got it.
Center for the Boston Celtics. He's going to have a big night tonight. More than 10.5 points. Denver coming off an emotional win over the 76ers, not having Murray, not having Jokic, not having all their guys. But I think Queta is able to get after them in Boston with not a lot of inside presence for Denver. So more than 10.5 points. All right, James Harden. Knicks playing the Clippers. Fun game tonight. Clippers been on a heater. They've won 7 of 8. Kawhi Leonard's been playing unbelievable basketball. We're going to go with James Harden's over, though. More than 24.5. The way the Knicks are built, they have really good, lengthy wing defenders. Mikal Bridges is going to be stuck on Kawhi Leonard all night. I like getting some value here with James Harden. He's going to be guarding Jalen Brunson, who is not a very good defender. He's primarily there to score. I think Harden, more than 24.5 points. I think this is Harden's night tonight where they're going to be keying on Kawhi. So more than 24.5 points for James Harden. Oklahoma City, Utah, Keontae George, more than 22 points. I think Oklahoma City is going to come out and dominate this game, but I still think Keontae George, one of the bright young stars emerging in the NBA, if he played for a team other than the Utah Jazz, people would start to recognize this. He popped off in Boston a week ago for 37. He is the catalyst. Utah doesn't play any defense, which is why I think they're going to get run by Oklahoma City. But there's a lot of guys on the team that can score. Steve Mikhailuk, Keontae George, Ace Bailey. Keontae George, more than 22 points. This number is depressed because the Oklahoma City defense, more than 22. San Antonio's playing the Lakers. I'm going to give this up to Fletch. Do you want me to make a pick on that game?
Just take whatever Wemby's over is, because that's what screwed us last night, taking his under.
Yeah, but Wemby's on a minutes restriction.
Okay, then fine. Let's leave it at that. 3 is fine. We didn't win yesterday.
Okay. All
right.
right.
Get 4 when we win.
To recap, Nemias Queta, center for the Boston Celtics, more than 10.5 points with no Jokic. James Harden, more than 24.5, going to pop off against the guards against New York. And Keontae George for Utah is going to have himself a night against Oklahoma City in a high-scoring game, more than 22 points for Keontae George.
Can't believe you don't like Chicago.
It's not that they don't like Chicago, it's just a terrible pick for your favorite band.
They also have a great Christmas album. It's like the only Christmas album I routinely listen to every single year. If you hate Sammy's music choices, which I don't, I actually really like everyone he likes, but he's hating on me for liking Chicago. So,
and I'm hating on you for saying that's their favorite band. Like Boston, I'm with. Boston's a great band.
Boston's sick.
That's a real pick.
So is Chicago. It's okay. All right. Text us 70470. Start your message with team. Here's the question that we're going to answer in hour number 2. And Sammy and I started to fight about this, but couldn't get all the way into it because of a minutes restriction, much like Victor Wembanyama. John Harbaugh or Lamar Jackson, who would you have chosen? Because it sounds like the Ravens just went with the quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Was that the right choice? Who would you choose? That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Valley View Casino and Hotel. John Harbaugh fired yesterday from the Baltimore Ravens. Apparently every team with a head coaching opening, plus a few who still have head coaches, are all calling about him. Aztecs got a 73-68 victory over the Nevada Wolfpack last night. They will be back Saturday night at Viejas, taking on Fresno State at 8 o'clock. And the Lake Show are back in San Antonio after beating the Pelicans yesterday. They're road dogs, 7.5-point favorites for San Antonio. That game gets going at 6:30. Be the 3C's MVP this month at Valley View Casino and Hotel. On January 30th, one lucky winner will score cash, and more cash, or a spin for $100,000 during the 3C's giveaway. Only at San Diego's favorite casino.
Valley View Casino?
That's what the update says.
We love Valley View Casino.
We love Valley View Casino.
Valley View Casino is the best. Talking patties and pints? How about a little black and blue steakhouse? Woo-hoo! Valley View Casino's where it's at. Sammy Long. We got to make a trip up there together, man. That'd be fun. All right, San Diego Sports 760. It is hour number 2 here. We're going to get into the debate. John Harbaugh or Lamar Jackson, which way would you rather go? I got my feelings. Sammy got his feelings. What are your feelings? Text us 70470. Start your message with team. Sammy played a Michael Jackson song coming back from break, and it was I'm Bad. And I said Weird Al Yankovic's version, which is I'm Fat, is better than
it's just crazy.
MJ's version.
You don't actually believe that. You're just saying that for the radio.
615 Fletch, I feel like a proud dad listening to your absolutely accurate take on Weird Al Yankovic.
It's one thing to say you like it. That's fine. That's great. Enjoy it. But to say that it's better than Michael Jackson,
I enjoy it more. There are MJ songs that I feel like belong at the top of every list.
You're the kind of guy that watches Straight Outta Compton and goes, O'Shea Jackson Jr. is actually a better rapper than his dad.
I actually haven't seen that movie. Is it good?
You want to see Straight Outta Compton?
No.
Oh, it's great.
I know. I missed on that one. I should watch it. But Weird Al Yankovic
should have won an Oscar.
Dude, I'm a Surgeon is better than I'm a Virgin. For sure, Amish Paradise is better than Gangster's Paradise.
No.
For sure.
No.
White and Nerdy is better than Ride and Dirty.
No.
All right. Also, 615 said Fletch or Sammy, take notes, dude. Throwing on some You're the Inspiration by Chicago is a panty dropper. Can confirm. Fact. 619, all begins and ends with Steely Dan. How about a little Steely Dan? 619, what about any punk bands? You're in Southern California. I
love
like
some punk.
Blink 182 is fun.
They went to my high school.
They get the people on their feet, man.
Sex Pistols, Ramones, Black Flag. We're going old school with it.
Is the Clash considered punk? Because I really like the Clash.
I don't know if is the Clash considered punk? They're kind of they were like in Britain. I guess they could be kind of punk. Not really punky. Punk though.
Like more modern stuff, Blink 182, even like
Green Day.
Green
Day
Day
can punk principles.
Yeah, Green Day, good. What's the all-time low? Very good.
Mm-hmm.
We got lots of fun. All right, if you want to keep those coming too, but Lamar Jackson or John Harbaugh, which way would you go? I'm going to make the case for John Harbaugh, and it's not so much to do with John Harbaugh; it's more to do with Lamar Jackson. Because is there a chance that we've already seen the best from Lamar Jackson? Is there a chance that his 2 MVP seasons, which were amazing, and he does stuff we haven't really seen before? People like to compare him to Michael Vick. I think he's different, man. He's faster. I don't think we've seen a quarterback that moves like Lamar Jackson does, that is as elusive as Lamar Jackson is in my lifetime. I really don't think we have. And he's fantastic. But what have we seen this year? Lamar Jackson dealing with a hamstring injury definitely looked a step slower. And maybe that's just a this year thing. Maybe next year he's fully healthy. It is right back to going as fast as he was when he was winning MVPs. But even if he does, what happens 3 years from now? Lamar Jackson eventually is going to lose a step. Eventually, it's not going to be the situation where every time he plays against an NFC team, they just look totally inept to handle him because they haven't seen anything like that before. No, he's going to get slower. We know that's going to happen. And usually with quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, you look at a Cam Newton, someone who relied so much on his legs early on. Once they lose a step and they're no longer the fastest guy on the field by a mile, it's pretty easy to deal with them. And Lamar Jackson has grown a lot as a passer since he's broken into the NFL. And I can be fine with that. He made some big plays, man. He won that game against Pittsburgh. The Ravens just missed a field goal at the end. But if 3 years from now, Lamar Jackson isn't the Lamar Jackson that we saw a couple years ago, the Ravens are going to be back at square one. And man, I would rather have John Harbaugh as my head coach when that happens.
I appreciate the take, but unfortunately you're wrong. Lamar Jackson, giving up on Lamar Jackson for John Harbaugh. I wouldn't have gotten rid of John Harbaugh. So I'm not defending. I think it's dumb that they got rid of him.
In this situation, I think they had to make a choice. I think they were either choosing to stick with Lamar Jackson.
To me, it's obviously Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has kept this team in a perennial playoff contention. Yes, have they had some bad luck? The AFC title game against the Chiefs, L'Jarius Sneed knocks the ball out of Zay Flowers as he's going into the end zone. You have Mark Andrews fumbling, dropping a 2-point conversion against Buffalo. Tyler Loop missing the kick on Sunday night. There's been a lot of stuff that's went against Lamar. And I also, when people want to talk about the playoff record with Lamar, which is fair, he hasn't gotten it done. But Lamar gets talked about after Mahomes, Allen, Burrow. In that conversation, you can make an argument. All three of those guys, Burrow, Mahomes, and Allen, have all had way better weapons than Lamar has ever had. Mahomes had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Josh Allen has James Cook and had Stephon Diggs. Joe Burrow has damn near 2 number 1 receivers in T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. So he's never really had that guy. Zay Flowers has been the best receiver he's ever had. And Zay Flowers being the best receiver you ever had tells you something, because Zay Flowers is not a top 10 receiver in the league. Zay Flowers is like a top 20 receiver in the league. It never really worked out. Rashad Bateman, he's had to deal with a lot of scraps, veteran receivers, DeAndre Hopkins, way past their prime. I get where you're coming from in the sense of, I think it's wrong to fire John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh, as evidence, has a gazillion suitors and every team wants him.
Even teams with head coaches.
Right.
There's a report out that Miami wants John Harbaugh.
Right. He's the kind of coach that people reevaluate. Well, we like our coach, but this coach is better. And I wouldn't have fired him. But if the decision is Lamar or him, I'm going with Lamar, unless you're going to go with a total reset, which is Lamar is $74.7 million this year he's making. It's a huge contract. He negotiated for himself. I get that sense that, maybe he takes a little bit of a downturn if he gets injured later in his career. But I think 1 year where the whole team gets hurt, to just write off Lamar. Lamar also doesn't take a ton of hits. Like, that's kind of a misconception about Lamar. Josh Allen takes way more hits than Lamar does. Lamar, people think because he's a kind of a runner first, he actually gets out of it. And this has been the first year he's actually dealt with a lot of injuries. So I'm not writing off Lamar. And if it had to be one of them, I would have kept both. But if it had to be one of them, I'm certainly sending Harbaugh packing.
949 says maybe John Harbaugh will be found relaxing on the beach of Thailand with Veronica Bielik, which was Cliff Kingsbury's girlfriend, where he just escaped to Thailand for a couple years. That's the other interesting thing. So you think about John Harbaugh, and I think we all assume he's immediately going to jump right back into head coaching. But is that accurate? Like, it's not like John Harbaugh's ever going to hurt for money for the rest of his career if he was smart over the last 18 years. But John Harbaugh, do we think he immediately jumps back in, or does he do the Sean Payton thing where he waits a year and sees what opportunities are on the other side? I kind of feel like he's going to be a head coach next year. I feel like if he's smart, he's waiting to see if the Bills lose this weekend and Sean McDermott gets fired, and then he partners up with Josh Allen for the rest of his career until he's ready to retire.
I think that's the contingency. If he's smart and he waits, if the Bills don't make the Super Bowl, I don't know how they can, Brandon Beane and them can bring him back. Like, because the excuse for McDermott's always been in Allen is that, well, you ran into Reed and Mahomes, kind of like for Harbaugh and Lamar, you ran into guys who were just better.
Sure,
better.
Especially this year, because you feel like if the Bills don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, it's going to be on the defense, and McDermott's the defense guy.
Right. So if I'm Harbaugh, I'm waiting, because the Ravens immediately become the top job. But then if you're able to get with Josh Allen, and I think that would be a massive upgrade, Sean McDermott, going from Sean McDermott to John Harbaugh. There's a lot of attractive openings. The Giants have a lot of young talent, top 5 pick. If you like Fernando Mendoza, then you want to go to the Raiders because they have the number 1 pick. They're going to take him. The Falcons are a pretty good team. There's a lot that goes on here, though, because you look at the Giants, tough division. Raiders, really tough division. Atlanta, not so tough division.
Right.
But do you believe in Michael Penix? There's a lot that he's gonna have to work through regards to what quarterback he wants to mentor going forward.
The only head coach opening that I see right now that I'm like, oh, jump at that opportunity is the New York Giants. Because I don't think Brian Daboll should have been fired. He had this thing turned in the right direction. And from what we've heard about Brian Daboll, he's not the easiest person to deal with. And maybe the Giants just thought, as an organization, we don't want to deal with this jerk on a day-to-day basis. And so they're going out to find a Harbaugh, a Kingsbury. I think that Kevin Stefanski would be an excellent hire for any head coach. But I do think the Giants, which our buddy Jamar just jumping down on YouTube saying the same thing, they have the brightest future here outside of the Bills, baby. But FedEx Trey saying on YouTube, hey, guys, if the Bills fall to the Jags, do you think it's right if the Bills fire McDermott?
I think 100%.
I don't see the argument if they make it to the AFC Championship. Football's a weird game, and even favorites sometimes lose in championship games. it's going to be tough for me to think about firing McDermott if they make it to yet another AFC championship game.
My thing, though, to that point is look what just happened with Lamar and Harbaugh.
Sure.
The people, they're not getting rid of Lamar. It's not like Buffalo's getting rid of Josh Allen. So what's going to be the change? They got to sell something.
My whole thing, it's like you can't really compare McDermott and Harbaugh. You can't do that right now.
I think you can, though, because they both have excellent quarterbacks who haven't gotten over the hump.
Right, but Harbaugh has been there for 18 years, Sammy, and McDermott hasn't even hit a decade yet. I think he's at year 6 or year 7, right?
Yes, but I think Harbaugh has won a Super Bowl. And McDermott, again, it's one thing to sell the fan base. We lose to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We lost to Joe Burrow. That's not there this year. So there's not, like, what is the excuse if they win a playoff game and lose? It's well, you lost to Bo Nix.
Right, but a playoff game is different than the AFC championship game.
But they've been to the AFC championship game before multiple times, and they've come up short.
For sure. And that's not good enough, and it shouldn't be good enough for Bills fans, but I just would have a hard time firing a head coach who just got to an AFC championship game. All right, we're actually going to take a break here and leave a little bit more time on the other side for the big three, which we sort of just blew through. We got a couple things out there if you want to weigh in on the conversation on YouTube or on the text line 70470. Start your message with team. Music has somehow become a big thing. So if you agree with me that Weird Al is better than Michael Jackson, just kidding. That's not how it is. It's the one song. All right, Sammy, don't have a heart attack back there. Or if you are wanting to weigh in on Lamar Jackson or John Harbaugh, did the Ravens make the right choice? YouTube at San Diego Sports 760 and on the text line 70470. Start your message with team. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. Let me ask you this. How does $1,000 unquestioned just handed to you sound right about now?
In a briefcase with no questions asked.
Bingo. Rubber bands. San Diego Sports 760. We got chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday starting next Monday from 6 to 6. Listen for the keyword. Enter it at sportssd.com. It starts next Monday at 6 a.m. A little hint. It's going to be at the top of each of those hours. So listen to San Diego Sports 760. Get the keyword. Take the keyword over to sportssd.com and boom, $1,000. At least as good of odds as winning long shots on a daily basis.
Hey, screw you.
It's San Diego Sports 760.
I made this guy so much money on long shots. He doesn't share any of it. And now he's mouthing off.
That's not true, Sammy.
How much money did I make you 2 weeks ago? Do you want to share that number with everyone?
500 and something.
No, I think that's shorting it. You said 500. You told me 6, at least 6 to 7.
$500 or $600. It's something. It's not nice to talk about.
So let's be a little bit more respectful.
We love you, Sammy. You all know that. 858. Any real Bills fan remembers what it was like before McDermott. He should not lose his job regardless of what happens in the postseason this year. 760. Hey guys, Bad is one of MJ's weaker songs. I agree. Weird Al's is more enjoyable, and I love MJ, and I love good music. Ha ha ha. Dude, Weird Al is a lyrical genius, Sammy.
So thank you for listening to the show. I appreciate you texting in.
Next segment, bring us back with some Weird Al. We need it.
I don't understand how Bad is one of Michael's weaker songs.
It's opinion based. That's what music is, Sammy. We could have these conversations. It's you think they should keep Lamar. I thought they should have kept Harbaugh. It's an opinion.
I can't believe you think they should keep Harbaugh. So Ben Fletcher's big takeaways today.
Name a movie you hate. A movie you can't stand.
What's the one? Damn it! What is the one with the vote for Pedro?
Napoleon Dynamite.
I hate Napoleon Dynamite.
I love Napoleon Dynamite. I'm glad it worked out like this. I think Napoleon Dynamite's genius. I think Napoleon Dynamite, I can look at it and say, okay, Josh Hader or whatever his name is, totally bought into that performance. They made that movie for like $35,000 and it made hundreds of millions of dollars.
No, it's very successful.
That's a great
You're
movie.
asking me if I like it.
I
never got it.
It's hilarious. Time after time, the prom scene is fantastic. The tetherball scenes are great. Tina, you stupid lard is one of my favorite lines from any movie ever. Boom. Opinion. I'm fine that you hate it, but it's my opinion.
Yeah, but your opinion can be wrong. Like ripping Michael Jackson is just a dumb.
No, I'm not
ripping. Dumb take by you.
Bad by Michael Jackson is a good song. I'm Fat by Weird Al Yankovic is a better song, Sammy. That's my opinion. You can think whatever you want. It's not going to change what I think.
Again, opinions can be wrong.
To you, but not to me.
So Ben Fletcher's big takeaways for our show through the first 5 segments is the Ravens should get rid of Lamar Jackson and keep John Harbaugh, and Weird Al Yankovic is better than Michael Jackson.
Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite's one of the greatest characters known to man. That's
big
a true
3
story.
time.
Yeah, let's get to it, Sammy. Go ahead, smash it.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Where would we like to go, Mr. Michael Jackson fan?
Let's go to the AFC North, but not John Harbaugh.
Okay.
Let's go to Pittsburgh. So everyone's talking about John Harbaugh got fired. That game could have easily went the other way if Tyler Loop makes the kick. Question's this. Does Mike Tomlin get fired if they lose to Houston on Monday? Or should he get fired?
All right, so before this Sunday Night Football game, Ian Rappaport had a tweet out. They did a whole segment about it on the NFL Network. I was watching it. I remember it clearly, where essentially what Ian Rappaport was saying is he had talked to the insiders of both teams, and he found out that neither coach was fighting for their job that night, that both of them would return to their teams the following season. Obviously, it was a swing and a miss on John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens. I'd have a hard time thinking it's a swing and a miss on both of them. I actually think what Mike Tomlin did this year is more impressive than what he's done the last few years, making the Steelers a relevant football team with a bunch of different quarterbacks, whatever. Think about what he did this year. Bring in Aaron Rodgers, who didn't exactly look good with the New York Jets. Bring in a brand new wide receiver 1 to replace George Pickens, who he thought was cancerous to the locker room. Deal with a bunch of injuries on the defensive side of the football. Go through the first few weeks where your defense was playing like dog crap, and then somehow get serviceable enough to make it to the postseason once again. And what's the line in their game against the Texans, Sammy?
I believe 3.5. I could. They're kind of becoming the trendy, sexy upset pick.
So I look at this job by Mike Tomlin this year, and I'm like, all right, well, you're going to run into the exact same situation as John Harbaugh. I get it if you want a different voice in the room, if you think that the relationship between Mike Tomlin and the Steelers has gotten as far as it's going to go. They're probably not going to win the Super Bowl this year. I have a feeling over the next few years they're not going to win a Super Bowl either. But for this year, this is nothing fireable has happened so far. I think if Mike Tomlin's not the Steelers head coach next season, it's Mike Tomlin's decision.
By the way, my mom agrees with you and says that I'm wrong, that opinions are opinions.
Thank you.
She just texted me that.
Mrs. Long, you are an angel, and everything mean I've ever said to your son, none of that is directed towards you. And I actually think you raised a pretty good one, but he's misguided sometimes. So
I stand by my opinion.
That's fine. We got more and more texters say Weird Al's better than MJ. It's okay.
Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think, just like I think it's ridiculous that they got rid of John Harbaugh, I don't understand why you get rid of Mike Tomlin. Look at what he has done, regardless of the quarterback. People thought Aaron Rodgers was washed with the Jets. I mean, the Jets, people thought he was done and cooked. Now all of a sudden he's in the postseason, getting the best out of him. Losing DK Metcalf down the stretch, that kind of seemed like a death knell.
Because he punched a dude in the face.
Right. Like, you can't account for stuff like that. I also think Mike Tomlin's secure, regardless if they lose the game, because of John Harbaugh. I think if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, you go, wait, so Stefanski's got a Cleveland, who was a good offensive mind. Zach Taylor's back in Cincinnati, a guy that there's major question marks on whether he can coach or not. John Harbaugh, one of the other great, quote, coaches in the league, he's fired. So if I'm a Pittsburgh fan, I'm going, well, why would we fire Mike Tomlin? Mike Tomlin's going to run this division for the foreseeable future.
Right. Who's to say the Ravens wouldn't pick him up immediately, you know?
Right,
like our buddy FedEx Straight puts out a good point. He says, and Aaron Rodgers in the offseason wasn't even all in on going to Pitt. Remember, it took forever for him to decide?
Right, it took, yeah.
So Tomlin also went into this season not knowing if he was going to have a quarterback to start for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. It's been an impressive job for him. All right, Sammy, what's next?
Jerry Jones.
This dude.
Now, I'm not
highly recommend everyone goes and watches Jerry Jones' press conference today. Just wait till we're off the air.
Yeah, we're not going to get into the political aspect because he talks about the president, all this stuff. But he talked, with the other thing he said in it is he said the goal is to retire with the most Super Bowl wins.
All right, so Jerry Jones is 83 years old. Robert Kraft has 6 Super Bowl wins. So Dallas Cowboys rip off 4 straight. Jerry retires at 87. Sounds good. What do you say? It's a perfect plan.
Why does he say stuff like this? Like, Jerry.
Because, Sammy, what are we doing right this second? The Dallas Cowboys are as relevant as they ever are on January 7th when they're not even a postseason team. They make a firing that was totally unnecessary for a guy who did better than we all expected him to do in Matt Eberflus this year. Like, the defense for Dallas got better as the season went on, and it outperformed what we expected it to be, and that guy gets fired. And then a few days later, Jerry's going to go out there and say, yeah, I know there's that guy, Bobby Kraft, who has 6 of them, and I'm 83 years old, but I am going to retire, by the way, as owner and general manager, not die, with the most Super Bowl wins in NFL history.
You just want to go, like, if Jerry shut his mouth, which I know he won't do. I mean, he's 83. He's going to talk. It's like the family member at the dinner table. It's like, hey, we love you. Just don't talk. You just, when you talk, you make it worse for everyone because you make some questionable comments.
We all know it's Uncle Jack, all right?
It's Uncle Jack. Yeah, it's always some uncle. You're like, hey, just be a part of the family. Don't say everything that's in your head doesn't have to come out.
I strive to be that uncle.
Jerry Jones, like, you realize, like, when you look back at his year, you trade Micah Parsons. Honestly, the Cowboys respond, play pretty well, don't make the playoffs, but I think, getting Quinnen Williams, the changes they made at the deadline while getting draft picks, I think you look at it and go, that's a successful year. But then Jerry opens his mouth and goes, we need a pass rusher. It's like feeding a dog the bone. It's like you're just asking for people to come at you. And then you're like going in the offseason going, all right, we're going to get a new defensive coordinator. We're going to get someone in place. And now all of a sudden he says he wants to have more Super Bowl wins than anyone. It's just like it's crazy that he goes and says this stuff. I guess he just likes his name being in the media, to your point, but it is pretty wild.
I kind of like it. Jerry, go nuts, man. How many years you got left? Who knows? You eat McDonald's every day. You look like you're older than 83 somehow. Just keep it going. I want to hear some more weird stuff from Jerry Jones.
Big 3, story number 3. So back to John Harbaugh. Take away the Ravens. Where should he go? So should he wait for the Buffalo job? The Giants are interested in him. The Cardinals are interested in him. The Falcons, the Raiders, the Titans, every team that has an opening, the Browns are interested in him. Where do you think he should be at the top of his list?
I really like that Giants job, man. Now, the downside of it is the Giants. And since Eli retired, it's not like they've had a ton of success. But I do think this trio of Jackson Dart, if he can get a little bit smarter, Cam Scattaboo, if he brings that same energy and doesn't have a freak accident where his leg pops out, and Malik Neighbors, who I think has all the ability to be one of these top tier wide receivers, they got something special cooking in New York, and they got another good draft pick this year. I think that New York job is very, very good. The Buffalo job is better. It is better. Moving into a brand new stadium, one of the best fan bases in the country as of the last 5 or 6 years. That Buffalo job with Josh Allen, you are safe for a while. You are going to be competing late into February or late into January every single year. Waiting and seeing is a dangerous game. If I wanted the project, I'm going to New York. If I wanted security, I'm going to Buffalo.
Buffalo, obviously, I think it had to be the job. If it's open and he's there, you inherit Josh Allen. You don't have to worry about a quarterback. You get to work on building a defense and putting a receiving core together.
Yeah, but legacy becomes important to these guys, and building up a New York team would be good for it.
That's true. And the Giants have everything in place. I think it's kind of a fast rebuild. Like, everything's there. They have a top 5 pick. I will say, though, the Raiders. Now, I don't know that he would want to go coach against his brother in the division, Andy Reid and Sean Payton. That's like asking for a gauntlet. That would be another tough head coach in there. But if you think Mendoza's legit, per what everyone says, Gentry, Bowers, Crosby, there's some pieces in place with the Raiders. If you take away the fact, which you can't do, that they're the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Raiders have a history of messing things up, take that away, you look at the roster, purely the roster, there's a lot of pieces there. I just don't know if he wants to go up against his brother twice a year.
All right, we got a couple of comments to get to here before we take a quick commercial break. How about Abon on YouTube saying, I'd let Weird Al babysit my kids way before MJ. Great point. Great point. 858, can't lie. It might be close, but I bumped way more Weird Al on the aux than MJ. White and Nerdy was legendary, but so was Thriller. Yeah, here's the weird thing. Sammy's like, oh, Pearl Jam, I don't like the way they talked about people who came before them, blah, 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 blah. But you're fine with Michael Jackson? Weird.
What's wrong? I don't get into what happened off the mic.
Obviously.
Goodness
gracious.
First off, we talk about the music, all right?
Except with Pearl Jam.
Yeah, because I'm a Motley Crue fan, and he was crapping all over Motley Crue. I was like, I like Motley Crue better than Pearl Jam.
San Diego Sports 760. Quick break here. We'll get back to a little bit of what happened last night with the San Diego State Aztecs, as well as what's to come in the NFL. That's next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, it's Fletch for Valley View Casino and Hotel. Join Valley View Casino and Hotel for their $100,000 great big cash giveaway happening on Saturday, January 17th. That's my wife's birthday. Good day. You can be one of 500 guests to win your share of $100,000 in cash, and all you have to do is play your favorite slots or tables games. Be there on January 17th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. for your chance to win. And while you're there, don't forget to join the Players Club. Signing up is always quick, easy, and free. Plus now, when you join the Players Club, you're going to receive over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly at Valley View Casino, including $10 of more play. That's free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, $10 to the cafe, $10 to Sticks or Snacks, $10 to Sweets, $10 to Corner Market, and a free collectible t-shirt, plus 2 free Maine lobster buffets when you upgrade from red card to blue card status. And the more you use your Players Club card on your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you'll earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, invitations to exclusive events, and more. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino and Hotel on January 17th for their $100,000 great big cash giveaway and join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants.
The support is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Fountain. San Diego State got a big win over Nevada last night, 73-68. And the Lake Show are back tonight against the San Antonio Spurs at 6:30. The Spurs are 7.5-point favorites. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease and researching care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
I don't know what Sammy was laughing so hard about during that update, man. It's a serious foundation.
I want to make this clear. I wasn't laughing at Crohn's and Colitis. My friend sent me a meme right before, I don't need to get into it.
No, it's all right. Look, we all remember that one teacher who made a difference. That one teacher who believed in us, who challenged us, or who just made learning fun. Now is your chance to say thank you in a big way with iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Nominate an outstanding public school teacher who's gone above and beyond for their students to win $5,000 to stock their classroom with whatever they need. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. You think about this time of year, it's always nice to get teachers a present because they're watching your snot-nosed, booger-eating kid all day long. Why don't you nominate them at iHeartRadio.com/teachers, and they could win 5 G's to maybe spoil your kids with some more presents and stuff around this time of year. Always a good thing to do. All right, Sammy. Woo, that was a funny video. I'll be very honest. Maybe if anyone DMs, you changed your Twitter handle. What is it now? Can't hear you. You turned your mic off.
I turned my mic off on X. It's the Sammy Long.
At the Sammy Long. If you would like to reach out to Sammy, maybe he'll send you the link. I can't
be sending that to people. My friend sent that to me.
It's a funny video. Follow Sammy at the Sammy Long.
That would be great. I would love a follow. I'll follow you right back.
Follow me at Fletch Sports. Follow the show at Fletch and Sammy. Follow the show on YouTube. Sorry if you have
Crohn's and Colitis and
at San Diego Sports 760. We're having fun here. It's all right. What's the website one more time, Sammy, for everybody?
What's the website?
That you were supposed to read, but you were giggling through the whole time.
Oh, it was the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. It's a serious foundation, guys. Go check it out. Don't be laughing through your updates.
No, never, ever again either. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Last night on this very station, you heard San Diego State Aztecs basketball taking down the Nevada Wolfpack in Reno. Tough place to play, always has been. Lawler Athletic Center, Lawler Event Center, whatever it's called. It's been brutal over the years. And Steve Alford, the head coach there, I believe in his 8th or 9th season with the Wolfpack, has done a really good job, because essentially everybody that was on the court last night playing against San Diego State was not there a year ago. And somehow he's had this Nevada team playing better ball this year than the team from a year ago that had essentially all returners. So for Steve Alford, after a really rocky start to the beginning of the season, you could tell the team is really starting to come together as a team, and they're playing well, especially at home, where historically Steve Alford teams just don't make very many mistakes. And in the first half, man, they got to San Diego State. The Aztecs had 9 first half turnovers, which is way more than their season average. San Diego State fell behind early in this one. And then it was kind of an unexpected hero, wasn't it? It was Taj DeGorville who leads the charge in the first half, who throughout the year, I bet you he's averaging 12, 13 minutes a game. And last night played a ton. And it was because he got out there when the starters weren't really getting the job done. That second unit with BJ Davis wasn't really getting the job done. And Taj got the job done. And he was playing free and loose. And all the things we saw when he was a freshman and started to crack the starting lineup towards the end of the year, that we were like, oh, this kid has something special, man. And when Taj is playing like that, it's not just him that gets better. It's everyone around him. I loved seeing that out of Taj DeGorville last night. And we've been talking about this Aztecs team, how it feels like something might be a little bit missing this year. That might be it. It's Taj playing with the second or the third unit off the bench and playing well and playing loose and making stuff happen, because it's tough for a team to get ready for LZ Harrington, who's an excellent ISO ball scorer, Miles Bird, who we know he could take over games, and he did in the second half last night. And then you get BJ Davis coming off the bench, who's just been this furious scorer, one of the best bench scorers in the country. To have that third option of a Taj DeGorville coming off and playing like a 1 last night was the reason why San Diego State was able to go on and win the game. It was great to see.
It was cool seeing the guys who we thought last year, well, coming into this year, Taj and Miles Bird, be kind of dominant. We talked about earlier in the show, like Miles Bird comes out at half, hits the quick three, then takes the guy baseline. Like he was really the catalyst for them coming back. And Taj DeGorville kind of felt like the guy that was kind of left out of the rotation after the first, month or two rough start. But it's just cool, to your point about LZ Harrington, BJ Davis. You see the talent. These guys have really kind of carried the team for a little while now. And then you let the OG kind of stars come back in. It was a gritty win. It's cool that in 2 straight games, I mean, the Boise State game could have gone a completely different way multiple times. They're down 6. What was it, with 30 seconds to go? Something like that.
In one of the overtimes, they were down 6 with like 19 seconds left.
I mean, that game, they probably shouldn't have, well, they should have won it, and then they should have lost it and then won it. It was cool that on the road in a tough, tight game, tough contest, they were able to kind of grit through that. And again, Miles Heide in this front court deserves a lot of love, because when people have kind of bagged the team, they've kind of looked at the front court, which is why the reason they're not winning. So last night they deserve a lot of love, because in the games they haven't gotten it done against Michigan and Baylor and teams like that, on the road, I get Nevada's not the same caliber team of them, but still very impressive. And he deserves that big put back there at the end was huge from Miles Heide.
Miles Heide's playing the best ball of his career, and it's not even close. And you could see a guy like Miles Heide is the perfect example of that college basketball player who year after year has been in the same system. And as he's growing, the system is kind of growing around him. Yes, but he's growing up into the system, and it's working out so well for Miles Heide. It's been fun to watch his little journey that we've seen here over the last 3 years, where he's become the starter and he's playing 25, 30 minutes a game, and he's playing really, really well. An added offense to his game. Who knew Miles Heide had this footwork that all of a sudden we're seeing this year? It's been fun to watch, and he's getting more aggressive as an offensive rebounder. All right, we're going to close this thing out on the other side, and we're going to see if Sammy can get through a segment without smiling his little ass off over there. What's going on?
Nothing's going on. People are DMing me right now wanting the thing, and I'm unfortunately I can't send that because it could be bad.
I feel like you could send it.
If Fletch wants to send it, have Fletch send it.
I'm not sending anything, but I feel like you could send it. It'd be funny.
We're composed now. It was just it caught us right off guard before our update.
All right, on the other side, where is John Harbaugh going to land? Which one of these job openings would we want? And really quickly, we're going to do a top 5 list to end the show. Most pressured quarterbacks this postseason. A quick top 5 to send you out on a high note. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long for a final time here today. Then we're going to see you tomorrow, but we're going to send you out on a high note. We're going to do a little top 5 here to end the show, something special on a Wednesday. We're going to rank the quarterbacks in the field for this postseason who are under the most pressure to win a Super Bowl this year. Now, before we get going with this, Sammy, do you mind if I just eliminate a couple of the no-brainers who will not be on our list?
Okay.
Bryce Young, not on our list. Right?
No, but I think no.
Bryce Young, not on our list. Why don't we go with Drake May? Not on my list, but he could be on your list.
Yeah, let's just do our list and then we'll see who's eliminated.
All right, let's rip it. Sammy, NFL horns queued up, ready to go. Royalty-free NFL horns, that's right. Leave this in the podcast, baby. You can listen to this all day long. No one's going to copyright you, not once, not never. All right, Sammy, in your opinion, who's the number 5 quarterback with the most pressure?
I'm going to go with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud at number 5. I look at CJ Stroud and, we had Texans play-by-play voice on earlier, and they have all the ingredients for a Super Bowl winning team. They got all the way up to the 5 seed. I know they'll be going on the road, but you look at the path, you play Pittsburgh. Not that's going to be an easy game, but that's certainly, if you would have asked, would you rather play Jacksonville, New England, or Pittsburgh, I think everyone would have taken Pittsburgh. And considering no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar, CJ Stroud in this field has played in 5 playoff games, and he was kind of coronated as the next guy, and then he kind of had a little bit of a down year 2. This is really setting up for CJ Stroud to be dominant and remind people that he's a big-time quarterback. I think CJ Stroud's got a lot of pressure on him because if he lets Trevor Lawrence go farther than him in the postseason, I think that's a bad look for him. So I got Stroud at number 5.
Man, my number 5 is a tie, but I can't do that. It's the 2 old guys. It's Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, but I'm going to pick one above the other, and I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford because it's more realistic that the Rams can win a Super Bowl. But both of them are in similar spots, right? They're both on a new team, hang on. Matthew Stafford, obviously, the bulk of his career with Detroit. Aaron Rodgers, the bulk of his career with Green Bay.
Right, they're in different spots, yeah.
Stafford won a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams, but they're both looking for number 2. You know what differentiates quarterbacks in today's era with a bunch of guys who have won is that second Super Bowl, and that elevates you into a tier by yourself. And I think both of them, it would be huge for their career legacy. So I'm going to go with Stafford at 5. Literally, I think they're both Hall of Famers. They're both good to go. But I just think that second Super Bowl gets you into the next level of quarterback talk.
I'm going to go with your boy Brock Purdy.
I like it. He's also my number 4, so we could share this one.
Okay, number 4, Brock Purdy has had a very up and down month. He's been unbelievable at times, lit up the Bears, put 42 points on them, and been a catalyst for why the Niners are in the position in the playoffs, in the fact that he's played overall pretty well the last couple months of the season with the defense being banged up. Saturday was a different story. The shot to have it all to go through Santa Clara, he came up short. Fletch and I already got into an argument about this earlier in the week, but Brock Purdy has a lot to prove. And in a game against Jalen Hurts where both guys have been to Super Bowls, Jalen Hurts has won one. Can Purdy be the guy and elevate the team when he doesn't have everybody? Pearsall and Trent Williams are they're not practicing today, so they're in doubt for Sunday. If he can win this one, he gains a lot of respect in my book, not having all of his people. Brock Purdy at number 4 for me. I think Brock Purdy is under a lot of pressure.
Brock Purdy is at 4 because of the opportunity that he has right now. He has an opportunity to shut people the hell up. And God, I would love to see it because people who've watched every week of his career have seen what he's able to do in huge pressured situations. See him get out of the pocket and run for his life and make big plays out of it when the offensive line is terrible like they were against the Seahawks. Brock Purdy, I think Niners fans know that we're happy with the guy that we have at quarterback for the next decade. But for the rest of the world, time to shut up. So, yeah, Brock Purdy at my number 4. I'll jump in for number 3. It's actually going to be the guy on the other side of that very same field. It is Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
Also because of the opportunity. I'm not saying this is pressure as in a bad way. I'm saying the pressure on Jalen Hurts right now is to be able to tell everybody, look, this team has been in chaos all year long. They have not had an identity all year long. I'm putting a stop to that right now, and I'm going to go out and ball out in this postseason run. Take the Eagles to back-to-back Super Bowls, show that I belong in that top 5 conversation that everyone wants to flip-flop me in and out of. After I win the Super Bowl, yeah, I'm in the top 5, and then now this year, all of a sudden, they want me out of Philly. Jalen Hurts has an opportunity here to shut me up, first and foremost, And to go out there and say, no, look, this is my team. I'm the quarterback. We're going to be just fine. Who cares what my head coach does on a regular basis? Who cares the drama surrounding my team? We're going to go out there and win back to back because of me.
Sam Darnold, number 3 for me. Sam Darnold has a lot to prove in this postseason. He has not fared well in the postseason. Now he's wrote some of the narratives around him because last year when he was with he was with Minnesota, lost to Detroit the final week of the season, lost the 1 seed, then lost to the Rams. Now this season's been a little bit different. Had the big win against the Rams, big win against the Niners. Still though needs that playoff success. I think playoff success for Sam Darnold is at least 1 victory. I think if they get bounced in the NFC title game, people are going to be really excited about what the Seahawks are doing next year. But Darnold's got a lot of pressure to prove he is the guy. But regardless of what happens, I still don't think they're looking for a quarterback next year. So that's why I got Sam Darnold at 3.
For my number 2, it is going to sound like kind of an odd take here, but it's Justin Herbert. For a lot of the same reasons I just went over with Jalen Hurts, we have kind of crowned Justin Herbert. And fair or not, I consider Justin Herbert a top 5 quarterback in terms of talent in this league. Now, so was Aaron Rodgers for a large portion of his career. You know what Aaron Rodgers didn't really have outside of one? A Super Bowl. We're going to need to see something from Justin Herbert because the rest of the guys on this list all are at least competing for Super Bowls on an annual basis with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. When healthy, when they've had a full season, those guys end up in late January. That's where they fail. Justin Herbert, we've yet to get to late January. So I think this year's pressure, maybe not to win a Super Bowl. Maybe he shouldn't be this high on this list for me. But I think Justin Herbert's under an immense amount of pressure, especially this weekend. But to get to a Super Bowl, sure, Justin Herbert can have my number 2.
We might have the final same 2. I have Herbert as well. Herbert,
wow.
I'm with you. I think Herbert's a star. Herbert has dealt with, to be fair to Herbert, he's dealt with a lot in his career. I think Brandon Staley was a terrible head coach. He's dealt with bad offensive lines like this year. He didn't have enough weapons last year, but facts are the facts. And he's had 2 playoff games. Jacksonville comes back down 27 the first one. If you want to blame that on Herbert or the defense, Herbert also in the offense wasn't good in the second half. But last year was inexcusable. So Houston, he threw 4 interceptions. He had 3 interceptions on the whole season going into the game. Those 4 single-handedly against the Texans. Again, I don't think because of the offensive line, he has to go win a Super Bowl or make a Super Bowl. But he's got to beat New England. If he loses to New England, the narrative around Justin Herbert is that he can't win in the playoffs, and he's 0-3. So Herbert, I think, has a lot of pressure on him with Harbaugh as head coach.
Number 1, you want to say it at the same time?
Joshy Poo.
Joshy Allen. FedEx Trail on YouTube saying, how crazy is it that a 6 seed has the most pressure to win it all?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, for sure. But it's not just the Buffalo Bills in general. It is Josh Allen. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how the NFL goes. And he's going to have to do it largely by himself. I think Buffalo has maybe the weakest defense left in the NFL postseason. And that's the position we're putting Josh Allen in. It's maybe not fair to Josh Allen, but that's what it takes. If Michael Jordan went into the postseason with none of the great teams of his era even involved in the same postseason, like there was no bad boy Pistons, you would expect Michael Jordan to walk through.
Right.
And for Josh Allen this year, look at the field in front of you, man. You have to beat almost retired Aaron Rodgers. You have to beat young guns who barely have had postseason success in their career, and guys like Drake May and Bo Nix who haven't had any postseason success in their career. If Josh Allen doesn't at least get to a Super Bowl, this is a massive failure for the Buffalo Bills and for Josh
100%.
Allen. Is that it for us?
That's it for us. John is out sick, unfortunately, so we're going network.
Josh don't got no voice, which is kind of important when you're doing something like this. So we'll see you tomorrow, noon o'clock. Be here, be square. Bye.